Я нажал все, что мне надо было нажать. Сейчас должен появиться.
You guys shouldn't like just wave because it's already there. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Alex Borovensky. I'm the artistic director and theater director of the Book of Sirens, and artistic director of Pro English Theater. And I feel strange because we are the small independent theater in English in Ukraine, and normally before every show we would polish this place. We would make it, just super clean and everything. But now we don't have to do it because for months this place, our artistic space, has been a bomb shelter. And people actually sleep there. Here, on this sofa, this is a place for Raisa Grigorievna. She normally slept there for months. She's a lady from upstairs, wonderful, very educated lady. And in exchange for hosting her in the premises of our theater, we go to take shower at her place. Exchange. There, in that corner, which you cannot see, normally we would host Katya, who is the nurse. She's looking after the old lady upstairs who cannot walk. And Katya would sleep there because she's very scared of any sound of sirens. She would come there 3 times per day to our place, then go back because there is no shelling. Right now, it's the only bed that we had to move because right now there is Valerie Life, our helper. And Valerie will play live music at the performance, and I'm very thankful to Valerie because she can play. And normally, in her normal life, Valerie would teach accent and singing, and right now she plays music in our corner. That's the point. Here we would have Misha, the engineer. In his normal life, Misha normally develops aeroplanes for civilians. These days, Misha was fixing our space. Misha was kind of our god in terms of, having the space living. Here we would have Zhenya and his wife, and Zhenya is the teacher of music. And he came here with the piano. Are we using the same piano? Yeah. Okay, anyways, we have many pianos here with the theater, Here is Annabelle Ramirez, and she's an actress. She's not just sitting there, she's gonna perform a story called The Book of Sirens, which we developed throughout March 2022 here. I never wanted to do this performance. Actually, I love the book. And, I think I have to. Because you'll see the show, you'll have your thoughts afterwards, but to me this performance has a very straight message. Try to guess what the message will be. Anyhow, time to thank, and I'm very grateful to Markus Zusak, the Australian writer who wrote the book, the Book Thief, correct, the Book Thief, and we heavily used the story in our performance. Markus, thank you very much. Hector Abad Vasilince, the writer from Colombia, and I do believe that he has to receive Nobel Prize one day. We're actually using the extract from his book, Forgotten We Shall Be, and we're actually using his books in Ukrainian translation a lot throughout the show. Hector, muchas gracias. Also, for the guys, I'm grateful for you guys coming here, and here we have the inhabitants of Shelter, our friends and artists who came here as a live audience, because we didn't have it for more than a month. People watching theater performance, I have no idea how it's gonna be. Well, thank you very much. But a little bit of disclaimer for you and for you guys watching us online. This show will be using the Soviet announcements on the radio and some sound of sirens. And these days, it can be quite traumatic for the audience. Be aware. Then, it's a mono performance, and Annabelle Ramirez is gonna perform it all. She's my favorite actress. We'll see. And the performance is like 35 minutes, and we will keep the streaming of this performance on our page until the war is over. I think it's very important that you guys see and get these feelings inside, because this is kind of like a story in a story. We perform a story of a bomb shelter from a bomb shelter. So we try to put all this, our trivial ideas, how do we live here, into the story. And the story is very simple. Imagine a little town of Malkin, little German town of Malkin, from 1939 until 1945. And in the middle of this period, this town gets bombed. The author, Marcus, doesn't specify which planes, but it doesn't matter, because every little town reacts the same. Every person suffers and dies the same way. So, this is our story, the Book of Sirens. And to conclude it all, I want to remind you guys, Russia, these days, is trying to take over Ukraine. There is a war in Ukraine. Enjoy the show.
Внимание! Говорит Москва!
Last time I saw her was red. The sky was like soup, boiling and stirring. Earlier kids were playing hopscotch here. When I arrived, I could still hear the echoes. The feet tapping on the ground. The children, voices, laughing. And then bombs. This time, everything was too late. All too late. The cuckoo shrieks in the radio, the sirens. All too late. Within minutes, mounds of concrete and earth were stacked and piled. The streets looked like ruptured veins. Was it fate? Was it misfortune? Of course not. Let's not be stupid. It probably had more to do with hurled bombs thrown down by humans hiding in the clouds. Yeah. The sky. The sky was devastating. Home cooked. Red. Oh. The snowflakes. Snowflakes of ash fell so lovely. You were tempted to stretch out your tongue to catch them, taste them. Only they would have scorched your lips. They would have cooked 1939. The World War II begins! The beginning of September. Oh, it was a cool day in the town of Mohi when the war started, and my workload increased. The world talked it over, newspaper headlines, the very voice heard from every German radio.
Даем важное правительственное сообщение.
The very voice.
Граждане и гражданки
We
Советского
will
Союза.
be victorious.
Сегодня в 4 часа
Our
утра
time has
без всякого объявления войны
The
германские
German invasion of Poland have begun, and people were talking about it. They were gathering around all the radios, listening to the news. The Himmel Street, like every other street in Germany, was alive with the smell, the voice. England and France had made a declaration on Germany. To steal the phrase from Hans Huberman, the fun begins. On the day of the invasion, Papa was lucky enough to have some work. He, on his way home, picked up a newspaper and slipped it beneath his shirt. Yeah, he came home and landed the newspaper on the table. But the news, they were stapled on his chest. I did too. What does it say? Asked Lizelle. Hitler takes Poland. He replied. And Hans Huberman. Deutschland über alles. He whispered. And his voice was not even remotely patriotic. That was when war started.
всякого объявления войны германские вооруженные силы атаковали границы Советского Союза. Началась Великая Отечественная война советского народа против немецко-фашистских захватчиков. Наше дело правое. Враг будет разбит, победа будет за нами.
On the night, Lizelle slept as she always did. When she woke up screaming, she realized that on this occasion, something was changed. When Papa came closer and held her, she cried on his ears. he found a book. He read the title. Forgotten we shall be. Hector Abad Vasilius. A man, a girl, and a book. Yes, Papa. Yes, Papa. Let's read it then. Father, let me do everything. Everything is an exaggeration, of course. I was not allowed to do disgusting things. I was not allowed to eat in dirt or to pick my nose. I was not allowed to hit my little sister even with a rose petal. I was not allowed to cross the street before looking at both sides, or to go out before looking at before telling everyone I'm going out. By everything, I mean that I was allowed to touch his books and his recordings whenever I wanted. To touch his things without even asking the permission. Everything that is mine is yours.
Elle dort contre moi, serré fort par les bas. Elle dévore jour et nuit mes remords insoumis. Faut pas trop me
1943. Hans Huberman brought home a second-hand radio. This way, he said, we will know about the raids even before the sirens. They make a cuckoo sound and announce the regions at risk. He took it and he switched it on. Oh, you know, they didn't hear it as they slept in September. Maybe because it was half broken, or because it was immediately swallowed by sounds of sirens. Let's all wake up We have to... Night watch. And people watched it back, trying to find the tin can planes that were riding across the sky. Himmel Street looked like a procession of people, all wrestling their most important possessions. For some, it was a baby. For others, it was a wooden box or a stock of photo albums. Lizelle brought her books. She was carrying them in between her arms and ribs. Frau Holzapfel brought a huge suitcase. Hans Huberman had forgotten everything, even his accordion. He rushed immediately to help her out. Jesus, Mary and Joseph, what have you got in there? The necessities. (1944). The cuckoo called again, and it was immediately followed by a deep and informative voice that listed the town of Mocking among the possible targets. And again, Himmel Street looked like a procession of people, and again, Hans Huberman had forgotten his accordion. Dear, last time, we didn't take it, and we survived. War clearly blurs the distinction between logic and superstition. They followed down to the Mr. Fiddler's apartment, and then to his basement. This time it is real, he said. Children, they quickly realized that their parents were more afraid this time around. They did the only thing kids do. They began to cry. Shut that kid up. Lizelle opened to read. She spoke it out loud to make herself concentrate. And quietness started bleeding across the crowded room. For 20 minutes, Lizelle handed out the story. Only when sirens leaked again into the cellar, somebody did interrupt her. We are safe now, said Mr. Jensen. Shh. Shh. Said Frau Holzapfel. Lizelle looked up. There are only 2 paragraphs left until the end of the chapter, she said. And she continued. I must inform you that it was a rainy day in the town of Malkin. It was a rainy day on Himmel Street when the world ended for Lizelle Memminger. Her drops were cool. I could feel them on my hands. I could feel them about me. I looked up and saw the tin can plates. I saw their stomach open and then bombs. Drop casually out. They were off target. Of course, they were always off target. They were always off target. How would anyone bomb a Himmel Street? Would anyone bomb a street named after heaven? Tell me, would they? Would they soon? Railroads became ads and the Himmel Street was flattened all. While people sleeping. Mr. Fiddler. Slept. Papa slept. Frau Rotzapfel. Slept. Mr. Jensen. All. All sleeping. All dying. Only one person survived. She survived because she was sitting in the basement, reading. Hours later, the rescue team heard something. An echo. She survived. She's alive. Only I couldn't share their enthusiasm. Because earlier I was holding her papa on one hand. The rest in the other. Each soul so soft. Little girl, how did you know? The sirens were too late. What were you doing in the basement? Papa? She was clutching onto a book. She was holding onto the words that saved her life. Nineteen 1943. 1944. 1945. 1945. And again, 1945. Yeah. 1945. Each year for the ages. You must forget about the scythe. Oh, I needed a broom. Or a mop. Actually, I needed the vacation. A small piece of truth. I don't wear the scythe. And I don't have the skull-like features you also enjoy beaming on me from a distance. Do you really want to know how it truly looked like? Well, I can help you. Find yourself a mirror. While I continue. Actually, I feel so self-indulgent talking all the time about me. What I saw in 1945 and 2022. But you're human. You understand self-obsession, right? The point is, there is a reason for me to tell you what I saw back then. It all had repercussions on little Manninger. Well, and it dragged me along the ride. Ooh. Oh, there were so many rounds to be made that year. From Poland to Russia, from Russia to Ukraine, and back then. You may argue, yes, you may say that I make rounds no matter what year is it. But human race likes to crank things up a little. It increases the production of bodies and their escaping souls. A few bombs usually do a trick. You can write a book about it. Last time I saw her was red. The street looked like